Alright, we might begin. Can you hear me down the back, Ms. Gal? Excellent. So we'll begin by introducing myself. My name is Roy Plummer. I'm the Deputy Principal of Academic Studies here at the college. I'd like to put an apology for Mrs. Lauren Grant, our college principal. Today was her first day back after 5 weeks of long service leave, and I think she's a little tired, so not used to all the readers. So she did ask me to pass on her apologies. So we'll acknowledge the land on which we stand, and we're holding this meeting, the Larrakia land. We'll pay our respects to their elders, both past, present and emerging. This land was, always will be Larrakia land, and we are very respectful of that. Tonight belongs to Mr. Frikowski, so I'll pass over to Joseph, and he'll take you through the rest of the proceedings.
Okay, normally we say a prayer, but I just thought it would be appropriate to remember the feast day for today. There's about 20 saints that have a feast day today, but this one struck me. It's Saint Massa Candida, which is actually not one person. It's a group of martyrs who are martyred in Utica, which is now in Tunisia, Northern Africa, and the name translates as the White Mass. It denotes the fact that these martyrs were thrown into a lime pit and their remains became one great big White Mass. So there are some 153 martyrs suffered there under the Emperor Valerian and his son Gallienus. It's also particularly appropriate because on Saturday was the second International Day delineated by the UN in terms of remembering those people who had suffered under persecution of various religions. And Pope Paul also acknowledged that in a Twitter on Saturday as well. So I just thought that would be reasonably appropriate for today. Okay, so the reason we're here is this thing here called the NTCET / SACE. NT because it's Northern Territory, SACE is South Australia. The NT is too small to run its own system, so we latch on to what South Australia does. For the NT, it's the NT Certificate of Education and Training. So the NT emphasises the training part of the certificate. To complete schooling in the NT, you are required by the government to complete this particular certificate. If you choose not to, that's your decision, but in general, most people attempt to do this certificate, particularly if you want to go to further study, further training and university, you do need to complete the certificate. Okay, what are the requirements? Well, you've got to get 200 credits, and they're gained in a mix of subjects that are available for the NTCET. Most of the subjects are dictated by South Australia, but there are VET certificates which are freely available across Australia, which can count towards the NTCET. Some notation. Generally, if you're doing a Year 11 subject, it's called a Stage 1. And if you're doing a Year 12 subject, it's called a Stage 2. Generally, one semester, one subject is worth 10 credits towards your NTCET. Of course, that's 200 credits which you need. It's not that easy. There are some compulsory things that you have to do. So, we'll stop there. Students must achieve an A, B or C in your compulsory subjects, and I'll tell you about those in a second. And you must also achieve an A, B or C in 140 credits. Now, for those of you who can do the mathematics, 200 credits, take off 140, that means you can achieve 60 credits that are a D or an E. These are just grades. It doesn't mean that you pass or fail if you get a D or a C or a B. It just gives you grading. Okay. Thank you. Right, this is something which confuses almost everybody. It's called the pattern, and this roughly translates into that 200 credits. So on the left-hand side are compulsories, and I'll go through those in a minute. And then the rest are your 10 credit blocks, which you can achieve at stage 1 or stage 2. That's year 11, year 12. Over there, you can see a couple of 3 blocks there, which are 20 credits. Those are compulsories in stage 2, and I'll go over those in a minute. If you just want an NTCET, you need to have those 3 there, 60 credits, and then the rest can be stage 1s. Okay, here are your compulsories. If you're in year 10, you should already be completing your PLP. If you're in year 11, you completed it last year. So, 10 credits for the PLP, you must get a C or better. If you don't get a C or better in your PLP, you'll have to repeat it or do it again because the stuff isn't exactly repeated every year the same way. Year 11, compulsories are 2 semesters of English worth 20 credits. Doesn't matter what type of English, we've got 3 choices that you have to do that. It's called the literacy component. The next compulsory is numeracy. 1 semester of numeracy. That's for mathematics. Once again, any level of mathematics is okay. Most of our students do 2 semesters of mathematics at year 11. Okay. And you must pass in the sense of getting a C at least in those subjects. Thank you. Okay, the rest is up to you from subjects that the SACE offers. Or you can also have some external learning or some VET learning. The typical external learning is something like the Duke of Edinburgh Award, bronze, silver, etc. You might have life-saving or volunteer work, which might count towards your pattern. You need to ask us whether that is applicable or not. And there are plenty of VET courses that are available. VET courses come in Certificate 1, Certificate 2, or Certificate 3, or possibly Certificate 4. You can just do certificate courses in your NTCET pattern as long as you've done the compulsories. Not many students just have VET courses, but you can do it that way. Thank you. Okay, now you need to start thinking forwards. If you want to gain an NTCET, complete school, you need those 200 credits. You also need to do 3 stage 2 subjects, which are 60 credits. You saw that on that pattern. Now, those 60 credits can be made up of 3 standard subjects. They could be made up with VET credits as long as you are doing a Certificate 3. Certificate 3 is not the same, it's the same thing as stage 2, and I'm sorry, that's a confusion that some people get into. Now, if you are doing a Certificate 3, you must complete the whole certificate. We have a number of students, year 11, who have completed something like Certificate 3, Sport and Recreation, but 100 credits. That's great. If they were only to get 90 credits and not complete it, it wouldn't count towards their stage 2 requirements. So you've got to think about that when you go for certificate courses. And here's a major thing that you need to decide fairly shortly. Are you aiming to go to further study university? In which case, 3 stage 2 subjects, not enough, you've got to do 5. So right now, you should be planning, have I got those 5 strong subjects going through into year 12? The way in which we structure things is that you are doing 6 subjects at year 11, you're doing 5 subjects at year 12 and have a study line. Many of our students do more than that in year 12, just in case, or they're really interested in those 6 subjects. You need to make those decisions fairly shortly whether you've got those subjects that you want to carry on forwards towards year 11 and 12. Being a Catholic school, you are required to do a religion subjects in year 11 and 12, and the ones which we offer are religion studies, which is a study, comparative study of religions. And we also offer integrated learning, RE, for those students who don't want to do religion studies. But that's going to be one of your subjects at Year 11 and at Year 12. So remember that. Okay, how are you going to be assessed? Well, up until now, if you've been in Year 9 and Year 10, you'd be getting the letter grades A, B, C, D, E. And you get the same thing for Year 11. Once you get to Year 12, there are pluses and minuses in those letter grades. So, stage 1. Most subjects will have between 4 and 6 assessment. The SACE are South Australian Certificate of Education, people who run everything, are cutting down assessments across the board so that most subjects will have 4 assessments per semester. Depending on the subject, there will be assessments of different types. Some of subjects that haven't been renewed might have more than 4 assessments. The SACE set the standards for each subject, and the letter grades A, B, C, D, E means the same thing across the subject. So just because you've got a C in one subject, it doesn't mean it's more valuable than a C in another subject. It counts the same. The SACE do a lot of moderation. They also do confirming sessions to make sure that teachers across the NT and South Australia are marking to the same grades. Okay, yep. Year 12. Here you can get your pluses and minuses. So A plus to E minus at stage 2. To pass those 60 credits at stage 2, you must have a C minus minimum grade in 3 of those stage 2 subjects. If you're doing 5 stage 2 subjects and you get 3 of them C and above and 2 of them are D's and E's, you still get the credits, but they won't count towards things like university entrance. And they won't count as stage 2 credits unless you actually get the C minus or above. Stage 2, how are things assessed? Well, in stage 1, Year 11, they're all assessed internally. Teachers do the assessment, then they go through those clarifying and moderating sessions to make sure the grading is correct. At stage 2, 70% of your assessment is done in school, 30% is external. The external can be an assignment or investigation, which you do in school, which is then collated and sent off to the moderators at SACE. Or it could be an end-of-the-year examination. End-of-the-year exams are usually in November, 2nd, 3rd, and then following for a few weeks. Many subjects don't have those external examinations, and if you find examinations just too hard or too stressful for you, then perhaps you should be looking at subjects that offer internal assessment, even though it is externally marked by external markers. Okay, that's it basically. Right. There are some students that have particular issues, whether they be mental health issues, and other types of issues that can be granted special provisions. Special provisions is something which used to be handled by the SACE board and is now handled by the school. If you feel that there are things which are beyond your control in your life, things that we could potentially help you with, for example, if you break your leg, obviously you can't do a practical assessment in PE, so we work around that. If you are having issues at home, if there are health issues, then we can look at the whole situation and we can grant you some types of special provision. Normally, special provision will mean an extension on your assessment deadlines. They might include a bit of reduction in the number of tasks which you have to do, but in terms of the SACE, you have to do at least one of each assessment type, and you have to cover the performance standards within the assessment types at least once. We'll work through with you if that's the situation. In the past, many students who could easily be entitled to special provisions chose not to take that. That's your decision. But you do need to approach us if you feel that's the case. Our Wellbeing Officer, Mrs. Wallace, is one of the key people that you need to approach, myself, if you are feeling that you are entitled to special provisions. Normally I do a session with students just on that, explaining them what special provisions are, whether they can be entitled to them. Okay, so one of the reasons why this is there is because we are legally obliged to do this. Okay. There is an act way back then in 1992 which actually says that we must make those sorts of provisions for you. This is separate to anyone who might be within our inclusion support unit, who might be doing modified subjects, or might have special modifications or adjustments for them within the ramifications of that particular section. So this is for people who are unwell during exam time. This is for people, like I said, who might break an arm or break a leg, or they might have some family issues that require them to lose a number of weeks of schooling. Right, now, I'm trying to do you a very, very quick once-over so that you're not listening to me the whole time. We do have our subject specialists around here, and I would like the main focus of this meeting is yourselves talking to the subject specialists, asking about particular things in subjects that you might be interested in. So, okay. Once we get off this, we'll have that opportunity. We've got certain other pathways which you may wish to go through. One good resource is our MacKillop website. If you go to our MacKillop website, there are separate sections for careers, there's a separate section for VET, there's a separate section for other pathways, and a lot of what we offer is down on those particular pages. So, we've got our MacKillop Vets. We offer things like creative industries, we offer, what else? We offer IDMT, yeah, lots of things. There's about 6 different vets we offer. We also work with external providers to do vet with various descriptions. Like I mentioned, some of our Year 11 students last year already completed 100 credits in cert-free sport and rec, cert-free fitness, and there are other students working in the childcare industry and other areas as well. Some of our students have been trying to, or have got cadetships in various ways. The fireys and the police offer cadetships. You can possibly apply for them if you're interested in that. And a very good one, if you're looking for an apprenticeship or a traineeship, don't decide once you've left school. Because by that stage, if you go, you're going to have to start paying yourself. If you start an apprenticeship or a traineeship while you're still at school, you're a school-based one, and the financial implications mean that you probably don't have to pay so much as you would elsewhere. Now, there are certain ramifications about going for various types of apprenticeships and traineeships. Our vet people can help you on those. We also offer some careers advice, and we've got a flexible learning centre. I've been doing interviews with Year 9 students over the last 3 weeks, and I found that probably about half of them didn't realise we had a flexible learning centre way over there at the back, and they could look up various types of careers advice, or at least get some advice from our flex learning teacher, Mr. Edwards, who could lead them onto a path that would interest them. So if you don't know, flex learning is a first port of call just from advice, and if you then need to have meetings with our vet coordinator or careers counsellor, then we can arrange those for you. And I've mentioned If you are doing external things like the Duke of Edinburgh Award and so on, they could be added towards your NTCET credits. Further study. Okay. Let's suppose you want to go to university. This is what you've got to do. You've got to complete your NTCET, and you've got to gain an ATAR. Now, an ATAR is a ranking system. An ATAR of 90 means that you're in the top 10%, an ATAR of 90 and above means that you're in the top 10% of the country. An ATAR of 80 and above means you're in the top 20%. It doesn't mean you've got 80% of something, it just means that's where you are compared to everybody else in your year level. Okay? Mysterious magical formulas to convert your grades in your subjects into this ATAR ranking. And to be perfectly honest, I don't understand the mathematics which they use. So you do the best you can in your subjects, and then somehow magically they give you this ranking. If you're interested in really high-powered university courses, ATAR rankings 90 and above are needed. If you want to be a medical doctor, if you want to be a physiotherapist, if you want to be an engineer, if you want to be a nurse, 90 and above. If you are getting ATARs in the 60s and above, that's probably about the minimum some universities will accept. If you are getting ATARs less than that, then you'll have to do bridging courses and so on. If you haven't done the right subjects for a university course that you're interested in, they offer different bridging courses, pathways, and different means by which you get into that particular course as you want. Now, notice one funny thing, well, not funny really, you've got to get 90 or more stage 2 credits, but I told you that you're supposed to get 5 subjects at stage 2, which is 100. You can do the mathematics, there's 10 credits, not quite right there. That's because in the NT, we don't do exactly the same thing as they do in South Australia. So in South Australia, in the final year, they do 4 subjects and a research project which is worth 10 credits. It's compulsory down in South Australia, it's not compulsory here. We have had students who have done the research project in the past. It's not something that we do as a matter of course. So if you wanted to do a research project for 4 subjects in year 12, you can potentially do that. We have discussed offering research projects for students in the next year and the year after. If you're really interested in that, then that's something which we can do for you. That's why there's that slight discrepancy there, 90 credits. Last year, or the year before, we had a student who was not on an ATAR pathway. He wasn't going to go to university, but he felt that he was so successful at year 12 that he wanted to go to university. So he came back to us last year and did a 10-credit research project in digital technologies, and off he goes. So you can change your pathways. Okay, just one last thing. If you are going for some specialist courses at university, make sure that you check what their prerequisites are. So if you're going to do something in the science engineering line, they might require you to do at least general mathematics. Engineering will probably require you to do mathematical methods. Look at those prerequisites. Where do you find those? Well, these people. SATAC is a non-government organisation that is basically there to transfer your ATAR into a university place. You can't apply in general to a university and go to the university. It has to go through SATAC. So you give them all of your results from what you've done up until year 12. They do some calculations and then they say to you, okay, apply for university. Now the SATAC application process starts in August. So year 12's already started, I think it's the 2nd of August. Register, then they click on it, then they look at all the universities available, and they'll see automatically there whether there's prerequisites and whether the courses are available and what the requirements are for the courses. So SATAC is it. If you wish to apply for NT and South Australia, there are other states, of course, and if you want to go to Queensland, there's QTAC, and if you want to go to Victoria, there's VTAC. Every state has its own TAC. Thankfully, I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's something, I don't know what it is. It means something. South Australia, something. Mission Centre or something. Tertiary exceptions. There we go. Okay, those are the two main ones there that we go for. Okay. Now, like I said, I don't want to speak for long. So at this stage, are there any general questions which I can answer, or possibly Mr. Plummer? If not, we'll ask the subject teachers to come up here and just give you a bit of an overview of their particular subjects. So, any general questions? No? Okay. We'll start with Mr. Milden, if that's okay for you.
Religious education in 1 minute. It is a compulsory course, and it's often the saving course. We often call it the saving course because students bomb out in one subject. Oh my God, I need 20 points. And that's where RE comes in to save the student. But most importantly, religious education at year 11 and 12 is an objective study of religion. Simple as that. And if you can't objectively study religion, then you lack that holistic aspect of our educational system. The ability to understand why people would move towards religion or move away from religion is part of our course. We offer 2 courses, one called Integrated Learning, which is the general course, and then Religious Studies. Very similar course, except probably an extra 1,000 words. That's all. I do the Religion Studies. In year 12, it's 7,000 words. In year 11, it's 5,000 words. Now, if you take 1,000 words off, that's the assessment task. They're good courses. You come with an attitude, you go with that attitude. But if you come with an inquiring mind, it's quite an exciting and challenging aspect of the programs we offer. If you are offline, in other words, you're 3 days a week away from school doing a vocational education training course, we provide an optional offline course which is run through the flexible learning program. Changes are afoot and opportunities are developing, so look carefully at the program that was offered in the booklets. As I said, really encourage you to do religious studies if you're getting a C or more in your courses. But programs are there for you to take. Yes,
so between the 2 RE courses, does one attract ATAR credits, or do they both attract?
both of them attract ATAR credits. And currently, 7 of our year 12 students are on A+. So we're looking really positive. The 3rd course, Community Studies B, which is run out of the flexible learning, does not attract ATAR.
I am the head of English at Philip Catholic College. Moving into year 11, because most of you here are year 10 students, you have 3 options. When it comes to English, we have Essential English, which is basically for those of you that know that there is no way that you are going to go on and torture yourself with more education and you are going to enter a trade or enter the workforce. It is basically workplace-based English. Everything that you need to survive in the big wide world. So effective communication skills, both vocally and written, are what we focus on in Essential English. It will still get you an ATAR, but it is not a complicated course. Most students go through and complete English. We also call it General English, and that's just what it is. It continues building upon those skills that you've been using for the rest of your high school. We study novels, we study poetry, we study films. And you get assessed in a number of different ways, either through multimodal presentations and through writing. It counts towards your ATAR. It also gives you an extra 2 points towards the calculation of your ATAR. So if you are looking at getting an ATAR, I would suggest that you lean towards that General English. Or the other option that we offer at stage 1 is pre-literary studies, which then at stage 2 transfers into literary studies. Literary studies is a challenging subject. It's designed to be so. It's for those of you that are looking to get into those critical thinking subjects, such as engineering, such as medicine, such as law. It's designed to get you looking at text in a different way, in a different light. It will challenge you, and that's the purpose of the course. So if you're currently in Dr. Lewis's advanced English class, or you're doing really well in English, so a B or above, then you need to think about whether or not literary studies is a subject for you. Otherwise, most of you will go into English. Alternatively, if you're currently in Miss class, you're most likely looking at Essential English. If you really don't like English at all, then choose Essential English because it gets you the literacy requirements that you require with SACE. We also have another option which is also offered in subjects like maths and any other subject, which can be modified. And that's for those students that can't access a normal curriculum because of any inclusion issues that they may have. So those students that are already on EAPs will most likely have been targeted and accessing modified programs already. For those of you that are in stage 1 and moving into stage 2 next year, it's pretty much the same. Once you get your compulsory requirements for literacy in stage 1, English becomes an elective. However, be aware if you're going to uni that most subjects do have English as a prerequisite. And South Australia and the SACE are the only ones that don't have compulsory English at stage 2. So you need to think if you're going into uni, that you're going to be competing against students that have done university all the way through to Year 12 as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. Any questions about English that I haven't covered? If you're unsure about your selection, go talk to your teacher. They know you well enough to be able to give you some very sound advice on what level of English you should be choosing. All right, I'll hand over to Mr. Hannah.
Good evening. Good to see so many parents this evening. Let's go and see what senior maths is offering here in Makula. So we have 4 courses in stage 1, and then we have an extra course that started this year for stage 2, that is Com Studies. So if you're choosing an essential maths pathway, then we look into that as we go further. So we have specialists, methods, general, and essential. We are currently offering for stage 1. So if you are intending to do stage 1 methods, I think most of you, I can see here stage 1, Year 10 students seated here. You need to have completed 2 semesters of advanced maths. We are choosing to take mathematical methods. And in stage 2, if we are doing stage 1 methods, in stage 2 you can do stage 2 mathematical methods or stage 2 general maths. So you have 2 options in stage 2 if you are choosing stage 1 methods. And it is compulsory that you done some advanced maths this year to go into the pathway. For general maths, and if you are in year 10, and if you want to do general maths, you should be doing either advanced maths or general maths. And if you choose the pathway of general maths in stage 1, then you can do stage 2 general maths or stage 2 essential maths. So you have two ways to go. It is very important, it's very important. Why do we do this? Is that it's so important that you choose the right courses. What I see, a number of us see here is that, by the end of the year you come back to us and say, oh, suddenly I want to do this particular course. So it is very hard for you to go back to a higher maths course if you are choosing to do a lower level of maths. And again, it depends on what you want to do in your future. So make your choice, make your decision early so that you are in the right classes, so that you don't have the struggle of suddenly you want to do methods and you don't have the background. It is a difficult course. Courses like methods, specialists, as you go to the next one, they are difficult courses. So you need to have some prerequisites or some basic level of mathematics to do certain courses. And maths is a very important area where you make the right decision. I see a lot of challenges, and I see a lot of people coming to me year after year saying that I'm in the wrong class, I'm in the wrong course. I don't want you to, we do not want you to struggle as you go along the line. stage 1 essential maths, and you can pretty much, if you do methods or general or essential, you can go into that pathway. So if you choose to do an essential maths in stage 1, and in all these courses we offer 2 semesters, and it is good for you to do 2 semesters rather than doing a 10 credit course that gives you 20 credits, that helps you better with your board of studies credits, and also help you with the ETA. That you can read stage 2 essential or essential maths. The essential maths you can see community studies, it's called STEM and the community. And there is not an ETA course and no external examination. So you don't want to have any pressure, you want to have an easy pathway. You know, there are kids, they pick up the community studies pathway of maths. There is a 20 credit course, 20 credits. And for essential, the pathway is you can go to general maths, or essential maths you can go backwards. Specialist maths is one of the hardest courses in stage 2. So if you are choosing specialist maths, you are studying 2 maths. You study methods and specialist, that's 40 credits. In stage 1, you get 40 credits when you do 2 semesters, and I say that you do 2 full semester. You can't. It's not going to meet the requirement. If you're trying to do only half a semester, it doesn't work that way. So I know there are kids they want to do 2 semesters next year for specialist. Just keep going. Okay, you can do it. You just give it a go. That's what trying to do it. And it is compulsory if you should be doing advanced maths in stage 1 currently. Sorry, in year 10. If you're doing a year 10 advanced math course this year, you can do specialist. And you do methods along the line. And for stage 2, and this is offered if you complete a stage 1, 2 semesters of stage 1 specialist, we are happy for you to pick up the specialist in stage 2. So this is a course which just a lot of many doors are open before you. We will see as we go further down. So if you choose some of the harder courses like methods or specialists, there are some of the future studies that you require higher mathematical backgrounds, like architectural engineering, health sciences, social science, some of the computer sciences, IT, artificial intelligence, etc. Some of the career opportunities, if you go along the line of methods or specialists. So that is why we say, you make a decision early. What do you want to be in few years' time? Where do you want to go? What is the direction? You are capable. Okay, you are more than what you think you are. You can do it. So you need to have an attitude of, I can do it. So and you make an effort. You put that time to do it. And you can do it. It doesn't come without any effort. So these are some of the areas where there is very strong maths background. General maths, any tertiary courses that require a non-specialist maths background. If you are going for a nursing degree, you probably, I would say, you study at least this course, a general maths course, if you want to go for a nursing degree also. Some of the career opportunities. And this is not restricted. If you don't have methods or specialist, you can still choose to do these courses or these jobs. Essential maths. And this is the pathway I'm talking to you. You can go back. When the kids come back to us by the end of the a year of maths, it's stage 1, doing this area here, suddenly you want to go back there. You can see the clear pathway from methods down the line or methods to general. So if you don't have the right background, you want to go backwards. Okay, so make sure you make the right choices. Even if you are struggling, you try for a semester and you make the decision. So you are not sure what pathway you want to try, or what pathway you want to go. So just give it a go at the start and see how you do. And make a decision. In a few weeks of time, you get a clear understanding. Am I able to do it or not? Any questions? You can come and see me. I'll be at the back for after this meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. If you probably have to some of you haven't. My name is Miss Orisilia. I'm the PLP, which is the Personal Learning Plan Coordinator here at the Phillip. So what that is, put your hand up if you're in year 10, actually. Let's do that first. Yeah, so we're doing a personal learning plan at the moment, which is our first stage 1 compulsory subject that we knock out of the way in year 10. So it's worth those compulsory 10 credit points, and what it does is it sets us up for the future. So it's our futures planning subject. So all of these conversations that we're having right now about what subjects your kids might be choosing, you guys might be choosing as we go along, that's what we actually work out in PLP. We figure out our pathway, and obviously our pathways can change, but we have like a really good solid idea from year 10, and that's what I kind of work with these guys to get together. And so the cool thing we get to do is like work experience, and we've been writing resumes and cover letters at the moment, preparing us for the real world and everything like that. So that's that hat that I had to do for PLP. The other hat that I'm wearing tonight is I'm here for Mr. David Graham, who is our arts coordinator as well. So the arts, obviously we have quite a special program here at Big-Hiller. It is a tailored program. We also have individual instrumental lessons and all of that kind of stuff going on. So we run music, dance, drama, and we also run at stage 2 a subject called creative arts, which you can try out as well without needing all of those cool prerequisites that come through with your straight music, drama and dance classes as well. So there's a few different options with the creative arts too that come through that we'd like to see quite a few more of our kids in as well. So if you have any questions about arts or about PLP, because there's particularly quite a few year 10s here that I can see, you can come speak to me more than welcome to, or email me too. Thank you.
Good evening everyone, my name's Mrs. Street-Bryce. I know you've had a lot of information given to you tonight, so I'll try to keep it really brief. I did the visual arts course here at McKillop Catholic College. Visual arts is an ATAR subject that can get you into university. So if your child is looking for a pathway such as architecture, visual arts, teaching, you can even use it as a dance and drama, woodwork teaching, anything that they really need a portfolio for, then visual arts is the subject for your child. If they plan to do it all the way through to year 12, then they must do it in year 11. Otherwise, the written content will be too much for them when they get to year 12. They won't quite understand what's required of them for the 30% visual studies. If, however, they really want to do art, but they're not looking at an ATAR pathway, I do also offer in year 12 a alternative NTCET course, so they can do that to get their graduation certificate as well. I always say try year 11 visual arts. If it's your thing, then continue on with it. If it's not, then at least you've given a good shot, and you could look at Community Studies D in stage 2 to do your NTCET. So I'm here at the back for questions and comments and any questions you'd like to know. You can use visual arts as well as one of your stage 2 subjects. So if your child wants to do law, but there's nothing that they like on the line, you can do visual arts as part of your 20 points. So don't feel that it's just for kids that wanting to go along the creative arts pathway. It's for to get a really solid ATAR subject and an ATAR score at the end. That's everything. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Paul Dimick. I'm the head of Industrial Technology and Design. We're offering 5 courses in Year 11 next year, and all these courses are ATAR credit courses, subject courses. What we're looking for is not just the students who want to go and do an apprenticeship, but look at the students who are looking to do things like engineering, architecture, or some other sort of design course at tertiary level. Up until this stage, year 7 to 10 have been skills-based projects. When we get into year 11 and 12, they become design-based projects. Design-based focused, and our projects focus a lot more on the theory than the practical. The mix at year 11 is about 25% theory, 75% practice, and then in year 12 it goes to about a 50-50 mix, and that's across all the subjects I'm about to mention. So they are food and hospitality. They are, which is we're reinstating food and hospitality. Previously we've done design and technology foods. We're just changing that a little bit. It's a course that we're seeing that suits our middle school program, and a nice flow on for that. We've got a new course which is starting next year, which is called Design Communication Solutions. So that's a 2 and 3D product. So think about using graphic design based IT to create things, 3D printing, access to the plasma cutter, but also the CNC plasma cutter and things like that. We have a workshop for those kids that do digital communication solutions. we're hoping to run, we are offering textiles as a design technology subject, which we haven't done for a couple of years either. And of course we run timber and metal as our two standards up there in our workshop. And there is an expectation that students pick it up in year 11, will follow it through to year 12. Certainly we've had some issues with students trying to pick it up in year 12, so we, as Mrs. Bryce mentioned, it's a great thing to get on board at the beginning of year 11, and if it doesn't work out, but trying to pick it up in year 12 just doesn't work.
Hello everyone, Joseph, Head of Science. I have a view of as many as 7 science subjects. They are physics, biology, chemistry, psychology. All these are quite popular. And we offer also following subjects: scientific studies stage 1 and stage 2 for those students who are already doing stage 1. Nutrition and health and environmental sciences. So as I said, first 4 do count towards the NHAP and their examinable subjects, and the last 3 are not examinable. If you have any questions regarding this, please check with me.
Hi everyone, I'm Tani Gale and Head of Health, Physical Education and Sport at McKillop. In Year 10, in the middle of the year, we give students the opportunity to pick a focus for the Year 10 Health and Physical Education program. That is to give the students a bit of a taste of what a Stage 1 subject would look like, and also gets them to make a decision about perhaps whether or not they want to study it the following year. So in Stage 1 and 2, we offer, sorry, no, it's not my me, I was looking up. At Stage 1 and 2, we offer physical education, health and child studies. It's important to note that physical education prior to 2 years ago was very practical based, in terms of there was a large percentage, I think it was 50% practical assessment. All the assessments are now theory based, so while you do participate in practical activities, you do not get assessed on your ability at physical activities, if that makes sense. I'm happy to talk to people about that a little bit more this evening. We're also offering next year Stage 1 community studies, health, recreation and the community. So that is more of a practical based subject, similar to PE. And we also offer that at Stage 2 as well. But it's important to know that that subject, that community studies subject, does not assist students wanting an ATAR. But I've got some more information and I'll be up the back if you want to have a chat with me.
You might know me as your friendly neighbourhood year coordinator, but today I'm taking this hat off and putting my other hat on, which is the head of languages. So, I don't like talking.
Study 2 semesters of your language, which will give you...
Ni hao.
Mapagi.
Konnichiwa.
So you're looking at studying a language...
Ni hao.
Mapagi.
Konnichiwa.
So you're looking at studying a language at senior school? You have made a good choice. Not only do we have many different options at McKillop Catholic College to study a language, but if you are looking for some bonus ATAR points, studying a language could be a good option for you.
You will also be eligible to attend the study tour of the language if it falls on the year you are studying the language. In Stage 1, you will study 2 semesters of your language, which will give you a total of 20 credits, 2 lots of 10 credits. In Stage 2, the course is a 20 credit course. These credits are awarded at both the beginner stream and the continuous stream levels.
At McKillop, you have the choice of studying Chinese, Indonesian or Japanese in the senior years. If you started your language studies in middle school, this makes you eligible for the continuous stream of that language in senior school.
In Stage 1, you will complete the following assessment tasks. You will complete an investigation where you research a topic, present it to the class, and write a reflection. You will also have a conversation with your teacher, complete a written piece, and also a reading or listening piece.
In Stage 2, you will complete the following assessment tasks. You will complete an in-depth study on a topic of your choice. You will complete a written piece, a conversation, and also a reading and listening piece. This is an examinable subject, so there is also a written and spoken exam. The reason why I chose to study language at McKillop was not only is the language faculty and teachers amazing at the school, but I was really interested in learning a new language, and Japanese really opened up that opportunity for me. Throughout the subject, I've really enjoyed learning about Japanese culture alongside the language, and then being able to apply that knowledge through the school's amazing international program. If I were you, I would definitely study a language at McKillop. There are so many fun and exciting opportunities for whichever language you choose. I know for a fact that Japanese has positively influenced my life, and I hope to pursue the language next year throughout university.
At Year 10 and Stage 1, you can also pick up Chinese, Indonesian or Japanese at a beginner's level. This means starting right at the beginning of the language and progressing quite quickly to be efficient at a fast pace. You are even eligible for the beginner's course if you have not studied the language for 2 years prior to the year you begin the course.
In Stage 1, you will complete the following assessment tasks. You will present something in language to the class. You will have a conversation with the teacher, complete a written piece, and also a reading piece.
In Stage 2, you will complete the following assessment tasks. You will present something in language to the class. You will have a conversation with the teacher, complete a written piece, and respond to a text. You will also complete a reading and listening piece. This is an examinable subject, so there is also a written and spoken exam.
The reason why I chose to study language at McKillop was because Chinese was always a language I have wanted to study. I plan on going to China to experience the culture, food, and so much more. Through this subject, I really enjoyed working with my Chinese teacher because she is really friendly and helpful. I also enjoy putting my language skills to the test in real context at the Chinese Museum and the Chinese Temple in Darwin City. If I were you, I would definitely study Chinese in the senior years because it is a really fun subject to choose from.
As you can see, studying a language in the senior year has an option for everyone. If you would like more information, please see Ms. Slingerland and to talk about what options would suit your pathway or pattern.
再见.
Sampai jumpa.
Sayonara.
I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. But really what I want you guys to think about is that studying a language isn't just for those that have already been studying a language. The main thing is we have 5 subjects offered at Stage 1. So if you are interested in Japanese, Chinese or Indonesian and you have not been studying it for the past 2 years, you are eligible for the beginner's course, as in starting with my name is, these are the numbers, all the fun, easy things. So keep it in mind. You get bonus points for the ATAR by studying a language because it is considered to be one of the more difficult subjects. And also, you know, we have a lot of fun with food and fun things. Okay, with it.
Hello and welcome. My name is Mitch Wilson. I'm the head of humanities. And up until year 10, all students have been studying a subject called SACE, Studies of Society and Environment. At the senior level, at Stage 1 and Stage 2, it comes under the umbrella of humanities. The subject at McKillop Catholic College, we offer history, legal studies, business, and also geography. Those subjects examine a wide range of issues, concerns in the world that's rapidly changing in front of us. We try to bring in and examine how local issues in our community connect to those that are at a national level and how globally that it's all interconnected. Along the way, we try to develop some valuable research skills for the students, be it qualitative data, quantitative data, examining case studies, completing reports on issues, in many cases where students can collaborate with teachers and determine the focus of their research. At senior history subjects, we have Dr. Lewis, who's incorporating a wide range of, I guess, creative methods to try to, and an experience for students where they can not only study history from a textbook, but also something that they're involved in practicing in school and in the local community. Finally, inquiry learning is really critical in humanities subjects, and so we're encouraging students along the way to develop their own skills in finding out what questions are important to research. I'll finish up there, but I'm happy to continue if you have any further questions. Thank you.
Our RTO and VEC coordinator is unable to be here today, but we do have Mr. Edwards, who works in the flex learning area. He'll just briefly mention where you can go for further information with regards to that.
It's always exciting being the last person. Thank you everyone for coming along tonight. As Mr. Bukowski said, I work down here in Flexible Learning. I'm here tonight representing our RTO group. If you'd like any more information about our RTO group, what subjects we've got, what courses we've got available, we've got a whole bunch of brochures and things at the back, so please do come and chat with me. And for those of you I see in Flexible Learning, I'll see you tomorrow. So thank you.
So thank you for everybody for coming tonight. What we'll do now is, as most of the heads of department have mentioned, is they'll be hanging around to answer any questions that you might have. Myself and Mr. Frykowski will also be around if you have any general pattern questions or SACE NTCET questions. And then when you have satisfied your appetite for the questions that you have, there are some refreshments down the back and you're more than welcome to go home after that. Thank you for coming. Thank you for showing the interest.